Phone thefts around campus are on the rise. DPS will tell us what you can do to stay safe.
Iranian student leaders speak out after global protests after the death of a 22-year-old woman.
And a 100-year storm is headed towards Florida. See how people are preparing next.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Cell phone thefts are becoming a problem for students this year. Hi, I'm Jeffrey Lee.
And I'm Bailey Harrison. One student had their phone stolen in broad daylight on Friday. Cell phone robberies are on the rise near the USC campus. That's according to DPS. Students offer some common sense tips on how to avoid becoming a victim and how to keep your cell phone and other personal property safe.
So just make sure you're paying attention to where you're walking. Don't kind of be stuck in the zone looking at your phone, but I feel like the responsibility probably shouldn't be on students. It should probably be on reducing the crimes, not the victims there.
I honestly think that the reason why there's been an increase is probably because there's little to nothing being done about it. But I think to better protect yourself, maybe don't always be on your phone. I try not to use my phone when I'm walking outside of campus. I think that would probably be the biggest tip, and just be aware of your surroundings.
These are some of the locations where cell phones have been stolen from students. It's been happening during the middle of the day, often at busy intersections. We asked DPS why the problem seems to be getting worse.
So a pattern that quickly emerges is the fact that our victims tend to be distracted. Oftentimes we're misled to thinking that while speaking on our cell phones, we're in connection with somebody and that's going to keep us safe. But oftentimes people are targeted because those that would seek to rob them see that they're distracted by their cell phones. And you know, there's a lot of contributing factors all the way into our economics and society, and things that are maybe pushing people that normally wouldn't resort to crime, that are now kind of seeing themselves as being forced to resort to this. We are in an area where we have a lot of affluence, in an area that is absent. So it is not uncommon for people to look at us as a potential target.
Tonight, DPS also has some tips on how to stay safe. Let's go to live reporter Jacob Wheeler with more on the rise in cell phone robberies.
Bailey, good evening. In today's world, nearly everyone has a cell phone, and if you go anywhere outside, you'll see many people keeping their heads down to their screen. But tonight, DPS officials are warning students exactly against that. DPS says there are ways for students to protect themselves. First, they urge students to utilize rideshare apps like Uber and Lyft whenever possible. Second, be aware of your surroundings and do not assume you are safe just because it's light out. And third, trust your instincts. If you feel uncomfortable, go to a nearby store or public space to remove yourself from that perceived threat. And finally, it is easier said than done, but keep your phone secured when possible. Now, tonight, DPS attributes this rise of phone theft to the influx of students arriving back to campus from the summer break, and says thieves typically target victims who look distracted. That means texting, talking on the phone, and having those headphones in those ears. And their message to you, be vigilant and pay attention to your surroundings. Reporting live here in the Media Center, Jacob Wheeler. Bailey, back to you.
Death to the supreme leader. That's what Iranians all over the world have been chanting for a week now, as the protests continue over the death of a 22-year-old woman. Students held a vigil on campus for Mahsa Amini. She was arrested by Tehran's morality police for allegedly wearing her headscarf too loosely. The Iranian government has shot and killed protesters, limited internet access, and arrested journalists in response to the protests. Members of USC's Persian student organization and UCLA's Iranian student group say they stand with Iranian women and will not stand by while the Iranian police continue to attack women over what they're wearing.
As horrific as her killing was, this is not the first atrocity that the Iranian government has committed. The Iranian people have reached a boiling point, and that's the reason why the younger generation is taking this kind of risk, because they feel they have nothing to lose.
I hope something would change. We have been dealing with Iranian women being oppressed like this for the last almost 50 years. So I'm very hopeful of something changing.
The students said it's important to keep pressure on the government and continue to share information about the protests. We'll keep you updated, but for now, here's Michaela Wegner with the weather.
Tonight, Florida is bracing for Hurricane Ian as the storm continues to gain strength. Evacuation orders have issued throughout Tampa Bay, and Governor DeSantis has declared a state of emergency. A view the size of the storm can be seen from the International Space Station. We spoke with some worried students who have ties to Florida.
I'm not from Florida. I just moved here for college. So I feel like a lot of Floridians are kind of used to the whole hurricane thing. But this is my first one. So I would say I'm a little bit nervous coming into it. I don't really know what to expect.
Yeah, so my parents and my youngest sister still live in Miami, Florida. And they've been not going outside at all, keeping the cars in a garage if possible, and moving furniture from the outside.
Floridians are banding together to prepare for the arrival of Hurricane Ian. Tampa Bay residents are filling sandbags in anticipation of major flooding. Many are filling up their gas tanks. Mandatory evacuation orders are expected to be issued tomorrow. The Tampa Bay mayor is warning residents.
I want everyone to understand the seriousness of this situation. And again, don't wait till the last minute. We can replace possessions, but we can't bring anybody back to life.
Tampa Bay News reporters and Annenberg alum Trevor Sakashi is covering the hurricane for the NBC station there.
Category 2, 4, it's only dependent on the wind speed, which means that you could have a Category 2 hurricane with Category 4 storm surge. And that's what really hurts people, is the storm surge. What that looks like is lots of wind, lots of rain, tornado chances, obviously lightning and thunder, as well as that storm surge. I can't emphasize that enough. That storm surge is the biggest concern for me, and I think for all residents.
Started in the Caribbean near the Cayman Islands and is now listed as a Category 2 hurricane. By Wednesday, it's expected to reach Category 4 strength, with winds reaching 140 miles an hour. In just a few minutes, I'll have more on the Southern California forecast and how long this intense heat is going to last.
2 Orange County women face charges for their alleged involvement in the U.S. Capitol riot on January 6, 2021. According to the FBI, the woman climbed in and out of the Capitol building with other rioters through a broken window. The FBI also says one woman posted descriptions of her participation on her Facebook account. Both women are charged in the District of Columbia with violations of federal laws, including disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building. Governor Gavin Newsom vetoed a series of bills this weekend, including one that would make kindergarten mandatory in California. Our politics anchor, Christina Liu, has more on the story.
Thanks, Bailey. The bill that would have made kindergarten mandatory in California is just one of over 60 bills Governor Newsom vetoed this past weekend. He said compulsory kindergarten would simply be too expensive, an estimated $268 million per year. The bill would have required the completion of 1 year of kindergarten before first grade, starting in 2024. Supporters say it would make up for learning losses experienced during the COVID-19 pandemic. Newsom agreed that early childhood education is important, but there are other priorities like healthcare and public safety. Most states in the country do not require kindergarten. Some bills the governor did sign will allow undocumented Californians to get a state ID, support indigenous communities in California, and target catalytic converter thefts. It could be a busy week for the governor. He has until midnight Friday to sign or veto a total of 550 bills. Bailey, Jeffrey, back to you.
Rihanna is set to headline Super Bowl 57. We'll find out what students think about the news.
Student performers are getting ready as we speak, as the Thornton School of Music prepares to host a jazz night this evening.
And the USC Jewish community is celebrating the Jewish New Year and start of the High Holy Days.
Worried your friend's struggling but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could write them a text or knit them a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write them a letter. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again.
Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
We all know how hectic shopping for the holidays can be. Target just announced a plan to hire 100,000 employees for the holiday season. The company also announced some deals to get a jump on holiday sales. The first deal days start next week, on October 6th. Other retailers, like Walmart and Amazon, are also getting into the gift-giving season early, rolling out sales early next month.
USC students are celebrating Rosh Hashanah. The Jewish New Year began yesterday. The holiday marks the beginning of a 10-day period of introspection leading up to Yom Kippur. The USC Hillel held services this morning at 10, followed by a lunch. We spoke to several USC students about what this high holy day means to them.
Rosh Hashanah is the start of the new year and the start of kind of the days of repentance and reflection on what the last year brought, the good and the bad, and seeing how you can better yourself going forward.
It was always a time where my family got together to have food, so it's just like a nice little moment away from reality where you can just be with family. I'm here with my friends, we're all getting food, and it's a nice break from classes and then just to go back to the real world, but like to have that minute away with like people that are family is nice.
The shofar is a trumpet-like instrument made from a hollowed-out ram's horn. It is used as a call to repentance. There are 3 different sounds or blasts made by the shofar. Tika is 1 long blast. The shevarim is 3 shorter blasts. And the teruah is 9 or more very brief blasts. USC has many events this week to celebrate Rosh Hashanah. All events will be held at Chabad House today. Services start at 7:30, followed by a dinner at 8. Tomorrow, another service at 10 a.m., followed by lunch at 2, and the blowing of the shofar at 4. On Friday, there will be an Italian Shabbat at 6:30 p.m. RSVP at student.chabadoncampus.org.
If you're looking for some entertainment tonight, the Thornton School of Music is holding its Jazz Night, featuring the USC Thornton Honors Combo and 2 student ensembles. Professor Jason Goldman is directing the Thornton Honors Combo, and faculty member Michael Stever is leading the other 2 student ensembles. The performance will feature a variety of musical genres alongside jazz music. We talked to a student performer about her thoughts on the event.
There's just a lot of like variation with different genres like funk and fusion, all of that. And I think all of the ensembles tonight are kind of playing around with all of that. And it's also really cool to see such amazing musicians doing improv, which is a lot of what we're doing tonight in our performances.
Jazz Night event will be from 7 to 10 tonight at the Carson Center located on Watt Way. Please make sure to check out the performance of our fellow talented students and, of course, bring over some Trojan pride.
Next, we've got Michaela with our weather. I know I'm sure looking forward to the fall weather, but it's been extremely hot. Michaela, what do you got for us?
Thank you so much, Bailey. Yes, it's a great day to be here at ATVN. I was feeling a little under the weather last week, but I'm so glad to be back. So speaking of the weather, happy fall, everyone. Fall season may have started, but it sure doesn't feel like it. It's still a little hot. So let's take a look at the current conditions today. Today we're looking at 79 degrees with 43% humidity, and the days are getting even brighter as we look onto the week ahead. So this upcoming week, we'll see some ups and downs in the temperature. We have Tuesday hitting a high of 90 with Wednesday following at 91. And then we have Thursday here at 88 degrees, and then Friday and Saturday following with 82 and 79. And for the rest of the week, we have a lows of around 60s across the board. And I don't know about you all, but that sounds like perfect game day weather. And speaking of game day, let's toss it to Michael and Bianca with sports.
Thanks, Michaela. Next up on sports, women's volleyball started conference play on Thursday. Was it a strong start to the season? The Cardinal came to McAllister Field to go against women's soccer. We'll take a look at how Nicole Payne's big day played out. And USC football remains undefeated by the skin of their teeth. We'll go over what the victory against Oregon State means for the Trojans after the break.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah. Hey Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Welcome back to ATVN Sports. I'm Michael Fumafredo.
And I'm Bianca Bueno. The Associated Press announced college football's top 25 teams after week 4, and USC is on their way up. The Trojans now rank 6th in the nation. They are also the Pac-12's top-ranked team. So far this season, USC has moved up 8 total spots, making it their first time since 2017 that they have entered October in the top 10. Michael, how do you think the expectations have changed for Lincoln Riley and the team?
To be completely honest, USC's a playoff team right now, or at least in that playoff contention. Sure, it's going to take a lot of help, maybe a few losses from a team here and there, but the fantasy of this team going undefeated, making the Pac-12 championship, going to the Rose Bowl, it's becoming more and more realistic as the season goes on. And if we're being completely honest, if anything I just said wasn't completely true, would the Associated Press really have a Pac-12 team in the top 10 at number 6 as we speak right now?
I definitely think it might have been a stretch. I would give them a top 10.
Really?
I would give them a top 10, but I don't know number 6. I mean, look at their first 3 games of the season. They're not the most high caliber teams. There's not those Big Ten, SEC matchups that, are in the top 5. And I can see how USC could get to that at some point, maybe with a victory over Utah. Who knows?
Utah announced they just lost their tight end for the season, so definitely a possibility there. The way I saw it last week, sure, it was a tight road game, but Michigan at home only won by 7 to Maryland. So if you do the numbers, USC's win looks a lot better on paper, don't you think?
I could agree. Well, we'll have to see about it, though, this weekend.
Yeah, well, there's time to go down the rabbit hole for that. But if you were wondering how USC got to number 6, the Trojans escaped Corvallis with a 17-14 win over Oregon State. But the unexpected hero was actually the defense. Defensive coordinator Alex Grinch's group picked off Beavers quarterback Chance Nolan 4 times and held him to under 200 passing yards. Down 4 with less than 5 minutes to go, all Caleb Williams had to do was find his go-to guy, Jordan Addison, for the game-winning score. And 4 interceptions, just another day in the office for a defense that now leads the entire NCAA in forced turnovers, interceptions, and turnover differential. Riley said Saturday that this was the defense's best showing all season. Here's why.
On top of the turnovers, we played more 11-man ball on defense, right? We got to the ball We did not have nearly, I guarantee you without watching the tape, we had significantly less busts in this game than we've had in the first couple. So we made progress. And when you turn the ball over and you play sound, you're going to have a night like we did tonight. It's called great defense.
Bianca, it looks like USC flipped the script on defense after last week. It was kind of concerning. A lot of people didn't know what to expect, but defense played great. How do you think the team's going to prepare for this week's matchup against Arizona State?
You know, that is great to think about. I really don't think the offense should be flustered. They've had a great performance throughout the season, and this week should not get in their way. They just mentally need to regroup, pretend like this is any other week. Not like they, maybe Caleb only had 180 yards, that might not have been his best week, but he still came out in those clutch moments, and they really need to think about those positive notes as an offensive team and take them in, and then just have them play well on both sides of the ball.
I love the fact that you mentioned the mental state. I'm going to go with a different reason, though, and that being on paper, this game should be one of the easiest for the Trojans. ASU currently 1-3, having an interim head coach. This should be a cakewalk for USC as they come back to the Coliseum. However, the team can't really see it right that way, can they?
Yeah, no, like you said, I think this is going to be a great weekend game for them to just mend and mold their offense's defense together and just see if they can go 40 plus this time again and bring it back to the old ways.
They're going to have to be convincing on both sides of the ball. Try and get a convincing win. And Bianca, maybe they'll even convince you that they are worthy of a top 6, maybe even top 5 spot in the rankings next week.
Oh, we'll have to see about that one for sure. The USC women's soccer team has started conference action at 1-0 after their big win against number 19 Stanford. The Trojan victory was the product of team leader Nicole Payne. She had 3 shots on 2 goals for the day. Anna Smith kept the Cardinal away with her high season of 9 saves in goal. The final score was 2-1, leaving the Trojans at 5 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss overall, and 3-0 at home. Up next, USC women's soccer will head north where they will continue Pac-12 play against Oregon State and Oregon.
Men's water polo tried to defend their MPSF invitational title over the weekend, but the Trojans finished 4th in this year's tournament. USC started off the weekend with wins over Fordham and UC Davis before losing to UCLA 13-12 in the semifinals. The Trojans went on to play Cal in the 3rd place game Sunday, losing 11-10. Massimo DiMartire scored 11 goals this weekend, and he continues to lead the team with 32 this season. This week's national rankings won't be released until Wednesday, so we'll have to wait and see until then to see if the Trojans move from their current position at number 5.
Switching to the court, USC women's volleyball is now 1-1 in Pac-12 play after opening conference matches against UCLA and Washington State this weekend. The Trojans were victorious against their crosstown rival in Westwood after beating the Bruins in 4 sets. Senior hitter Skylar Fields led the way with 24 kills. USC then battled it out in an intense 5 sets at Galen Center Saturday, but still fell short to the Cougars. The final score was 15-6 in the final set after the Trojans bounced back to win the 4th set 25-19. USC volleyball has 2 games this weekend. Sunday's match is at Galen Center, and there's brunch and bucket hats for fans in attendance.
That sounds awesome. I think I'm going to go to that. I've been meaning to get a new USC bucket hat, and I saw a picture of one. It kind of looks pretty sick. What do you think?
I know. I think it would be perfect for the next football game and this weather that we continue to have.
Bianca, thank you for joining me today. That's all the time we have for ATVN Sports. Wishing a speedy recovery over to Dylan, who's out this week with the flu. Jeffrey, back over to you.
Changes are coming to this year's Pro Bowl. See who is helping shape the program's future.
Lávate las manos por 20 segundos como Elmo.
Hay algo especial acerca de este lugar. Se siente como un hogar, una sala debajo del cielo y los árboles. Rodeado de aire fresco y la naturaleza. Todo aquí para que lo disfrutemos y para que lo cuidemos. Tenemos la responsabilidad de cuidar de esta tierra que llamamos casa, de preservarla para las generaciones que vienen. Cada acción pequeña contribuye para un cambio mayor y cada uno de nosotros podemos hacer la diferencia. Hay algo especial acerca de este bosque. Es un lugar donde se hacen recuerdos y juntos podemos preservarla y protegerla.
The NFL is changing up the annual Pro Bowl game after last year's game received the lowest rating since 2006. The NFL has decided to move away from a regular all-star football game into a week-long competition ending with the flag football game. The game is being renamed to the Pro Bowl games and will be a place for the AFC and NFC athletes to show off their football and non-football skills. It will include throwing and running challenges and will all accumulate in a flag football game. The game will be overseen by coaches like Peyton Manning. Manning is thrilled to be able to continue to celebrate the game of football. He told the AP, quote, "I'm thankful I can continue to be a part of this week as all of us at Omaha Productions work with the NFL to reimagine the Pro Bowl games."
Global pop star Rihanna is about to make football crowds go wild. The NFL has confirmed she will be headlining the halftime show for Super Bowl 57. On Sunday afternoon, Rihanna shared an image of her hand holding an official NFL football. The announcement got fans talking. What song will she perform? What guest star will join her on stage? Rihanna's last public performance was at the Grammy Awards in 2018. The Super Bowl will be on February 12, 2023 at the State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Both the game and the halftime show are highly anticipated television events. So, what do students think of Rihanna performing at the Super Bowl?
So Jeffrey, I'm a huge Rihanna fan, and I've been waiting for her to drop some music for quite a while now. I know she's been on her Fenty Beauty grind, but I'm definitely ready for some new tunes. What about you?
I know that surface level fans like me, I'll admit it, I'm a basic Rihanna fan, will be looking forward to classic songs like Diamonds or especially Umbrella. But for super fans like you, Bailey, what kind of underground, more lesser known songs are you looking forward to?
Oh boy, I don't know, just some new bops that I can sing in the car. But we do have some students here that have some of their takes to give us on Rihanna performing at the Super Bowl.
I think that it's totally fitting. I mean, she's a complete icon in her industry, and after the recent, rap thing with Dr. Dre, Eminem, Kendrick, etc., I think it's only fitting to have, just this absolute legend performing at the Super Bowl.
I mean, if I couldn't see an artist for because of the pandemic or because of just other issues, and I was able to see them perform, I'd be really stoked to sort of see them regardless of where they're performing or how their performance goes.
Last year's performance set the bar high, but if there's someone who can meet it, it's got to be Rihanna. Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Jeffrey Lee.
And I'm Bailey Harrison. For more coverage, watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Annenberg Media. Good night.